Good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution. I didn't even realize how ridiculous my hair looked until the camera went on. So yeah, so that this is my bedhead holiday edition WWF hoodie. Happy Thanksgiving. Welcome to episode 423. What I'm thankful for, and I'm thankful for all of you. So that's what I'm gonna talk about today. Um, Over the last couple days, my eBay sales have been a little slow. Well, until yesterday. Um, when I went to Chicago for the show, I left Friday morning. I was completely caught up on shipping, and I was expecting to be in the vicinity of 150 to 175 shipments to push out by the time I returned on Sunday afternoon, but it was, I think, just over 100. So my sales were a lot less than normal, than average, over this past weekend, Friday through Sunday. And it never picked up. I kind of chalked it up to um, the holidays. I think people are kind of holding off until, potential Black Friday deals as a whole. So I kind of chalked it up to that. But then all of a sudden the floodgates opened yesterday. I did list 250 cards, baseball, yesterday. And actually more than 250, because then I did several just on the side. So, and a lot of those sold, like boom, boom, boom. So that made me happy. So that's where we're at today, being Thanksgiving. I've got a few hours here this morning before festivities begin this afternoon. So do more shipping, and then tomorrow will be any leftover shipping, as well as final prep for Saturday's card show, Madison card show. I've got, I think my wait list is at 3 now. I have one vendor who just reached out, another vendor who has a table that wants a second, and then another first timer that is on the wait list. So going to be a fun show on Saturday. So I've got 4 new quarter boxes with some really good stuff. It's like I should probably, as I listed and sold some things yesterday on eBay, it's like maybe I should go back, and I think I put some really good stuff in there. So there's going to be some great stuff in my new for November quarter boxes. Dollar boxes keep getting larger and larger, so great deals to be had. 65 tables for Saturday show. So tomorrow I'm going to do final prep for that. I'm going to run over to the venue so I can get name tags down, and I'm gonna play with my setup in the back where I have my bargain boxes, and I'm gonna try to do something a little unique with that. And I'm also gonna see if I can squeeze an extra table or two now that I see the room, now that the room is full, because last month I had 59 tables, and I knew, okay, here and here, but it's like, well, what is it going to look like? And I'm going to play around with it to see if I can finagle. And I hate wait lists. I don't want to have a wait list. So I want to get everybody in. So I know I'm not going to be able to, probably not going to get 3 additional tables in, but maybe I can squeeze another 1 or 2. We'll see. 150. About 250 base yesterday. And all of that was from everything that I listed yesterday was from the bulk lot that I picked up on my way to Chicago on Friday. So there was some, so when he was showing me, okay, this is what's this. And so basically, and I'm going to lay out the collection. So Mike was the guy's name. Me at the Rockford show a few weeks ago, and he said, "Hey, I've got some stuff. I just want to get it, give you a good deal. Do you want to come look at it? Happy Thanksgiving to you, Jenny." So I'm like, "Yeah, sure. I'll take a look at it." And I'm always pessimistic when it comes to bulk buys, and I'm like, usually I pay a penny per card. And then I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. as long as it's not 80s and 90s. I'm not going to pay a penny a card for 80s and 90s junk wax. And he's like, oh, no, this is all, within the last few years. I'm like, oh, perfect. So, yeah, I'll take a look. So I went, and he had everything in the garage, and he had 4 monster boxes of commons. And then he had 1 monster box of like the parallels. There's some autographs. And then he had 2 like the 800 count, 600 count boxes of like relics. So I'm going through and I'm like, okay, this is some good stuff, because the common boxes had rookies, but a lot of the stuff is, it's only going to sell for $1 to $2 in the eBay store. A little bit I'm going to put in my 25-cent boxes. So a lot of the common boxes, I'll pull the stars, the rookies, and I'll throw those in my 25-cent boxes, which I did. I filled a lot of this was basketball, so there's going to be almost 2 full basketball boxes in my 25-cent boxes, 1 football, 1 baseball. So I was going through the common boxes. That's where I found the Freddie Freeman rookie, which sold like immediately for $25 on eBay yesterday. There was in the basketball, there were a couple Jordan Poole Prism rookies, $10 sales, boom, instant. As I was looking through, I'm like, oh, relics. And I didn't even I hate jersey relics. I hate relics because typically they're like dollar cards, but people don't want to pay $5 because you can't ship them. You can ship them PWE, but half the time they will get sold in transit. So I never ship I never ship relics PWE because of that fact. Like half the time they're going to be damaged, not going to waste. I'm either going to throw them in my dollar box, or if it's, a star player, maybe I can get the $5. It's kind of a wash. But joked, I'm like, oh, the dollar relics. So when I get home, I'm going through this stuff. It wasn't last night. It was Tuesday night. I was laying on the couch. My wife was watching Yellowstone upstairs, so I hung out downstairs watching basketball. And I'm listing some of these basketball relics. And I talked about that yesterday. The Walt Frazier, there was a Dennis Rodman. And these are selling for $10 to $20. It's like $5, $6 relics. There's a pile that I'm putting in the dollar boxes. But I was shocked. I'm like, I better go back to that dollar pile and make sure I'm not putting a $20 relic in the dollar box. Very, very, very happy with the pickup. I've already made more than a third back of what I paid in like a day of listing. And on top of that, I have 4 full monster boxes in my 25-cent boxes, and we'll see what the sales are like out of the bargain boxes this weekend. So a lot of fun. And, sometimes it's like you go in pessimistic. And that's why I always say go in with low expectations, whether you're setting up as a dealer at a card show, looking at a collection that, is kind of blind going in. Set yourself up for low expectations and walking away, and maybe it'll blow you away. So this one, I wouldn't say it blew me away, but it was better than I expected. Zach says, I was hoping you'd list the 86 Topps Bow from Series 2. Sweet card. If I had it, it would be, I would have listed it. If I have it, I would have listed it. I think I've gone through that whole box and the rest of it. So basically what I did, so the scanner that I used doesn't scan the chromium cards well. And what I mean by that is it kind of, it's the finish, and it just doesn't, if you put them in penny sleeves, you'll see the crinkles in the penny sleeve, in the plastic penny sleeve. Sometimes they have the way it scans, it'll scan it at an angle. So I've just done away with even attempting to scan the chromium prism stuff. So anything like a regular finish, Allen and Ginter, Topps Heritage, Topps, anything like that, I'll run it through the scanner. So half the box was, Topps, stuff that I could scan. The other half of the box is prism. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do. If it's stuff that I can put on there for, a few bucks, I'll just list it from my phone. Otherwise, I'll probably just toss it in my dollar box. Zach says, 1 minute behind. I am not thankful for your 80s and 90s slander. You need a Christmas Carol type dream sequence from Ty, Earl, and Grace to remind you of your wax heroes. It's just, yeah, I'm not a hater. I just, it is what it is, right? So that's kind of what I've been up to. We had a great dinner. Families in town. My wife's aunt and uncle flew in from Florida. Her cousin flew in from New York. Friends of the family are back. They spend half their time in South. So we went to dinner last night. I had to have my wife, but I'm like, I want the. We went to a restaurant where I don't know how to pronounce some of the items on the menu. So I'm like, what? How do you pronounce this? Puscanella, Italian restaurant. Fusilli, Puscanella, something like that. But it was good, very flavorful. Normally, I pasta from a restaurant because you pay $30 for an entree, but you can go to the grocery store and buy pasta for $1.19. So I hate ordering pasta. I've always had, it's like it's from in your 20s where you're poor and you go and you buy 2 for $1 pasta. It's like, I don't want to order pasta from a restaurant. I ate that throughout my 20s because it was 40 cents a box. So I did order a pasta dish, and I try to order. It's probably my wife's favorite restaurant in Madison. So I try to order something different each time we go. I had the tagliatelle last time, which was kind of underwhelming. But I ordered this. It was good. They serve them in huge plates, like the huge plate bowls where it's like a bowl and the plates like this. And they don't fill the plate. It's not like it's not an overwhelming amount, but it's deceiving. So I'm trying to throw this out there. So it's a huge plate, but there's not a lot of, they don't fill so it looks like a very small amount of food. And it's like, oh my God. But then I'm like halfway in, it's like, there's a lot of food in here. So anyway, that's only for when you're in your 20s, or 30s or 40s. So that's what we did. So Thanksgiving meal this evening. My mom's coming in this afternoon. We'll do it all over again with leftovers tomorrow night. And then Saturday, I think the aunt, uncle, cousin are flying out Sunday, so we have dinner on Saturday night downtown. So a busy week. So thankful for family coming in, thankful for friends. It's going to be a fun week. It's snowing this morning. I woke up, looked out the window, and the roofs, the neighborhood roofs are dusted with snow. Snow flurries are flying. So it's very scenic outside. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that, what was up yesterday and in my week, and talk about being thankful. Happy Thanksgiving. And I'm thankful for all the people in the hobby. And I wish I was putting together the thumbnail this morning, finding pictures that I took from, the card shows, Justin and I in the photo from this past weekend, Mike Summer when I went down to his card shop in Bloomington. Mike got in there twice because then he's with me and Big Shep and Steph, Junkwax twins, when we all met up for the first time at the National 2 years ago in Chicago. My buddy Scott and my other buddy Scott and Lee Crawley in a photo from Club 400, which I'll be meeting Patrick Wisdom at Club 400 in a couple of weeks for the Christmas party. Who else made and then I threw in Blake Jameson because I randomly ran into Blake on the first day of the National this year. I was just in Val and Logan from NASCAR Radio. Got to meet those guys at the National this year. So wanted to, it's like, I wish I had more, like Zach. I met Zach and Porter a couple weeks ago. We should have taken a picture. I never think of that. I never think of taking pictures. But when I do, I'm thankful. Thankful for everybody in the chat and everybody who watches this video, everybody on Twitter, customers on eBay. This has been a very blessed year. Despite all the challenges with COVID, fortunately, my family has not been affected by COVID, and we've had friends, unfortunately, that have been, though. It's been a trying year, but still, it's been eye opening. I was able to make, good has come from COVID. COVID led to me working from home last spring, and did that for about 15 months, and just being basically locked in my house, not literally, but the quarantine and the stay in place, shelter in place stuff, things closed, you couldn't go inside anywhere. So what do? And fortunately, things just aligned. eBay allowed more listings, and that's where my, like, I have all these cards. I've always said, my wife's like, how come you don't sell all these cards? You buy these collections. Why don't you sell the cards? And, I always just sold what I paid for, pay $1,000 for a collection. I'm going to sell $1,000 worth of cards. And then the rest is just, I'll get to it someday. I'll sell it someday. Well, someday came. Someday finally came last April, and I started selling, and everything was selling. And every once in a while, I'll show off some of the random stuff that does sell on eBay. It's almost like I jokingly list some cards just to see if it sells. And when it does, hey, awesome. Gives me some content to tweet out. Everything sells on eBay. So working from home was, Zach just comments, a silver lining. It was a silver lining. Let's see. Porter was a little shy. You're a celebrity. I wish. Jenny says, internet went down here. We'll have to rewatch later. Rich, good morning to you. Happy Thanksgiving. I can almost guarantee I would know none of you had we not been locked down. Yeah. And how about that? People that come into the hobby, like Zach and Porter, came into the hobby because of COVID. So there's, it was miserable for, several months, not being able to hang out with friends and go to restaurants and sporting events. But there was a silver lining. It allowed us to meet new people, although maybe a little delayed. It allowed us to take chances, and that's what I did. Took a chance, built up my business through a year and a half of either working from home or being quarantine / sheltered in place, and just saw what worked, getting costs down, and starting a card show turned into never what I thought. I'll have to do a side-by-side this weekend. Our first show was in April, and we had 19 total tables, 13 of which were not me or my co-promoter at the time. 13 tables. We've gone from 13 to now 65 plus a waiting list. And in January, we'll probably open up the hallway and hopefully have 75 or 80 tables. And just getting to that point in just a few months is awesome. And meeting the people, meeting John and Mike from Rockford, and getting introduced to, their vendors, and doing kind of almost a talent exchange between card shows. And that's, that's the fun. We're not in this for money. It's, well, I guess I am now, right? But I didn't want to start a card show here to make money. I wanted, because I saw that there was a need. I love bargain boxes, and the show that used to be here was in a very small room. You couldn't even sit down and look through cards because it was such a small room. It was so confined. And the hours were short. It was on a Sunday. And those were just some of the things. It's like, okay, I want to do something different. And it's taken off to something that, super thankful for. to where it's come from April to now. And it just, I just to think, I mean, a lot of this has all been, spurred from an upheaval in normal life. And I remember thinking, like, in March, the basically the night, the being too dramatic, that was the night the whole, was it Rudy Gobert, the whole sneeze gate, NBA games were being shut down. The NCAA tournament was in peril at that time and eventually was called off. We were playing trivia. We have a trivia group. We played bar trivia every Wednesday night, a group of husbands. And there was like, I think our team was 7. We had 7 of us, and never did we have all 7 of us together. It was, sometimes it was just 3 of us. Sometimes it was 6 of us. One guy couldn't make it. Usually it was 4 or 5. And at night, the only night, the night before struck and canceled life as we knew it, we had all 7 of us. And I just remember like thinking, like, I can't believe they're canceling an NBA game, or they're not having fans. Like, it was just such a foreign concept at the time of not having fans in the stands for a sporting event. It just seemed so surreal. And now here we are. We lived through it for a year and a half, and kind of still going in certain parts. And hopefully we are on the downward trend, despite winter and flu season and all of that. But yeah, it was, who would have thought, in April, heck, even in April of this year, I would not have thought I would be doing this full time. When people asked my wife, when I would recite some of my sales and she'd see the 100 packages going out, like, could you do this full time? And it's like, well, yeah, I probably could, but I don't want to. Despite me not liking my job, it was that comfort. It was, what's the word I'm looking for? Where I was just going through the motions at my old job. It was there. I had tenure, I guess. So I had 5 weeks of paid vacation per year, great benefits. And it was cushy, and I could go in and put in the work and come home and play with my baseball cards. And it was just, I didn't want to leave that, because if you leave that, even though, okay, 5 weeks of paid vacation, you work for yourself, you take a day off whenever you want. But when you work for yourself, if you take a day off, there's no money coming in. You take a paid day off at the office, you're still getting paid. You take a day off working for yourself, you're not getting paid. So anyway, so I'm just thankful for that's come about. It's been a great year, despite the challenges that COVID in life in general has presented us. So I am thankful for all of that. Jenny says COVID showed us life is too short. Take risks. That's a great point. And you see it everywhere. People are taking risks. They're starting their own businesses. They're leaving their comfortable, cushy jobs and taking a chance at something else, whether it be another company or a career change in general. They're seeing that there's more to life than, just walk. There's a Twilight Zone episode, and I kind of felt like I was living this Twilight Zone episode. It's one of the originals from the 60s, and I think it's a bank employee, and he just goes in and he does the same thing every day. And I almost felt like my old job, that's what I was doing. Wake up at the same time. That's kind of why I started this whole video series during COVID, just to talk, because most of my job was email and, talking to my dog and my wife. And so it's like, well, at least I can talk to a screen, and there's people that, can text back on the screen. But there's this Twilight Zone episode where the bank employee, he just goes through the motions day in, day out, and everything's the same. And even though my job was there were challenges. If you know anything about the current issues with supply chain, I was in the trenches on that, and it's another reason it was super stressful. So this guy just did the same routine: wake up, same routine in the morning, go to work, same, and it's just like I don't want to do that. Like that's a nightmare. That's the Twilight Zone. Doing the same thing day in, day out. It's just so I always thought back, and I would almost like get caught just stuck in this rut of a routine. It's like sitting at my desk, and maybe it's a slower day, and it's 9 o'clock. I'm gonna go to the water cooler. It's like I was living my work day by these times that I just caught myself in a routine just to break away. Like I'm going to get up and walk to the water cooler. It's 8:30. It's time for my second cup of coffee. It's 10 o'clock. It's time to go walk to the bathroom. It's just, and it was the Twilight Zone. So, and that we don't need to run around every day like we did. We can live basic the way we used to decades ago. Zach says, the cool part about your show is you were leaving a legacy. This could be a show that becomes a staple of the Madison community long after we're gone, especially given the early success. Yeah, the show is just, it's so much fun. And I actually had a former NFL player who I had reached out. I had just talked about signings, autograph signings, and early on we had thought about that just to bring people in, and it's like they actually reached out to me. They want to come, but it's like I don't have room. Let me figure out logistics because we've filled the entire space. I would have to do something different, and it's at the point it's like, okay, what's the cost? That's another thing where it's like the costs and all that. It's like so maybe. Fred Hoiberg was sick. Yeah, what's up, Andrew? I take less time off than the guys who work for me. Yeah, Mark. That's exactly what I noticed in when I went into this. It's like, oh, I can do this, and Fridays I'll just go hit Walmart and Target to see if I can get whatever. It's like I don't do any of that because I'm listing cards on eBay. I'm shipping, and it's here it is Thanksgiving. I'm going to be working all day on Thanksgiving. Get in once I get caught up on shipments, I'm going to be preparing for the card show, and I'm going to be listing more cards. And it's like but I enjoy it. I love it, and that's what I was talking about at dinner last night. It's like this is fun. Maybe it's a honeymoon period, but I'm enjoying it. And I enjoyed it. Like I know a lot of people hate shipping, and it does get tedious. I'm staring at like 105 items to be shipped, and it's like, oh, but put a podcast on, and you kind of get lost in it. And it you don't realize that you're shipping. After 20 or so, take a little break, go pet the dog, and come back to it. And yeah, just try to find ways to break it up. So I'm not that guy in the Twilight Zone episode. I never had paid time off at my work, and I was doing 7 days a week, getting called back in constantly at night to fix issues. Oh, it's a blessing I'm not there. Yeah, it is. I'll never be a manager again. Too much BS. Yeah, my wife was offered an assistant manager position with her office, and it's like it's like I can make more money and deal with less issues not taking a managerial position. And that's what I went into logistics and transportation. I had zero experience. And so when I worked in radio, I was sports director of radio stations. And then I ran the radio network at the university. And so I went in, it's like, well, my path is going to be management. So this is my goal. And then that goal was changed really quickly because in radio you work with, I would say, similar personalities. Radio is a very extroverted Was I was I talking about? Yeah, we were talking about introverts and extroverts, I think yesterday. Um, and even though in a room of unknown people, I'm more introverted, I'm probably more on the extroverted side than I am introverted. Um, and so I go in from radio where like if you're a radio personality, you're extroverted. And then there's the sales side. Well, if you're in sales, you're most likely extroverted. And there's really not really an introverted position in radio. Um, so I go from that, and that was like my entire adulthood, career wise, to the world of offices, and where you're just sitting at a desk and you're on the phone or you're on email. And our office was filled with introverts. And I walk in at lunch. We had a break room at our old office, and I'd walk in, and there'd be four people sitting at the table reading a book, maybe reading the newspaper or looking at their phone. Four people in the room, and it was dead quiet. It was so foreign to me. It's like that was to me the Twilight Zone. What did I walk into? Where am I working? I couldn't take it. I just every time I would walk into the break room around lunch, and there's three, four, five people not talking, not talking. Like that's it was so foreign to me. And that's when I knew, and just the different personalities in radio. You deal with some interesting personalities in radio, but I could relate. The introverts and some of the coworkers, it was like, man, I don't want to be a manager. So that all changed within less than a year, probably, where it's like, nah, not for me, not for me. And I think I knew after that first year, it was definitely temporary. It was a job where, I went in, this is going to be a career for me. And I think after a year, I knew this was just a job. This was just a temporary thing, a bridge. It brought me to Madison, Wisconsin. Um, and it's just a temporary thing where I'm going to find a better for me, position. So that's kind of the background. So yeah, so I'm thankful for a lot. Thankful for everyone in the chat. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving today. Eat lots of turkey. What's your favorite food of Thanksgiving? Because turkey gets all the hype. Like it's Thanksgiving, it's turkey. But turkey's just kind of like blah for me. I could eat an entire meal of stuffing or dressing, and I like them both. Um, Jenny, so okay, Jenny, I'm glad you brought that up. So Jenny says I'm looking forward to cranberries. That's the one thing. That's the one like main Thanksgiving side dish, whatever you call it. That's the one thing I could like throw out. No, I don't do cranberries. Grilling steaks today. There you go. I think we're having fillets tomorrow. Like, not that we're gonna have like my wife's aunt was like, well, we're gonna have this, and it just kind of depends how much food. I'm like, come on. There's gonna be enough food to like eat until next Tuesday. So I think there may be fillets on the menu Friday, which will be kind of a nice change of pace. So yeah, so turkey's overrated. Now the smoked turkey, holy cow. And going back to my radio days, that was a perk to working in radio where we would just talk about this, and then people would bring them in, like listeners to our show would bring us stuff. That was great. And so the morning show, we were talking about smoked turkeys, and my co-host and I, we had never had a smoked turkey. Well, one of our listeners smoked an entire turkey and brought it in to us. You're probably thinking, and this was 15 years ago, you're probably thinking you ate a turkey from some random listener. I don't think they were random. I think they were like, we kind of knew them. But hell yeah, working in radio, I was 22, 23. Turkey, hell yeah. Um, we ate the heck out of that turkey, and it was delicious. I think that's the only time some random radio fan listener brought us a smoked turkey, and we feasted on that smoked turkey. But otherwise, I think other like uh, however you make it is kind of overrated. But the turkey or the dressing and the stuffing, oof, that's my jam. Deviled eggs, I could eat an entire plate of deviled eggs. What else is there? Mashed potatoes. So I like to. Some people have like this thing against mixing food. One of my favorite things to do Thanksgiving is, and this is usually if the turkey's kind of on the dry side, is take the corn if there's corn. I love putting my corn in my mashed potatoes and then taking a scoop of mashed potatoes and corn with a piece of turkey and just it's just it's of Thanksgiving flavor. I love it. Um, so some I had a relative who like almost would like throw up if food mixed, and she couldn't take watching other people mix foods. So I had to kind of do that discreetly. Like, okay, I'm gonna do my mashed potatoes, corn, and turkey thing. Um, I could do without cranberries, and I could do without like the some of the casserole, like green bean casserole. Not gonna do it. And I love pumpkin pie, and I don't think we're having any pumpkin pie. We are having, I think, apple pie, which is my jam. I'm a pie guy. Um, oh, and another thing, and I don't know if we're getting this, but there is a like a sweet potato dish uh, from Ruth Chris Steakhouse that my late father-in-law just absolutely loved. And so, and I think it was like the worst kept secret at Thanksgiving, where he would go pick up like this big thing of sweet potato from Ruth Chris, and then like kind of present it as it was homemade, but everybody knew. We all knew where it came from. So I know that tradition carried on after he passed, picking up the Ruth Chris sweet potato stuff, but that's candy. And that might be what it's called, candied sweet potatoes or something. So anyway, so that's what I love about Thanksgiving. People and the food. Food's awesome. So have a great day. Have a great Thanksgiving. I will be tomorrow morning. I'll be back on again. I don't know. So I'm on late today because, like I said, with family in town and going out for dinner. I think it was like 10 o'clock by the time we got home last night. So I didn't go to bed till 11. So I slept in because normally I'm like retiring at 9:15, and I'm asleep before 10. So tonight probably will be probably a normal. Actually, my mom is in town, so my mom's staying tonight. So it probably will be. It won't be normal. So probably be delayed tomorrow, but I'll be live tomorrow at some point. I would say 8 to 9. Take it like a weekend. No show on Saturday because of the Madison Card Show. Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive. Hope to see you there if you're in this region. 65 full tables with a waiting list. I'm excited about that. Actually, I'm not excited about that. I'm excited that we're full, but I'm not excited that I can't get everybody in. So no show on Saturday, and then Sunday morning, I'll be live again between 8 and 9. We have dinner reservations Saturday nights, so probably be late getting home, and I'll want to sleep in. So Sunday morning I'll review the Madison Card Show, and then next week we're back to Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. normal work week. So appreciate you. Thank you. Thankful for everyone watching and chatting. Have a great holiday, and we'll talk tomorrow.